The night before the cameras rolled in Geneva, the night before the speeches about protecting children from social media, the night before grieving parents stood beside glowing memorial screens remembering children they had lost, Meghan Markle uploaded a photograph that detonated the internet in complete silence. Not screaming, not scandalous on the surface, just a mirror selfie, a luxury closet, a little girl crouched at her feet. And according to one journalist who actually flew into Geneva to watch this unfold in real time, that single photograph may have exposed the biggest contradiction of Meghan's entire public image.
Meghan Markle's shocking humiliation in Geneva finally proves that she has just gone mad.
Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Scamalot, she has taken her scams abroad again. This time she seemed to be flying solo. I guess she left Prince Harry at home. He's probably so happy.
What do you guys do at home?
Who's filming this?
I'm gonna come.
I mean, the fact that she's literally standing in the middle of these empty streets and no one even gives a damn really does tell you something about the way that the public feel about this woman. And then you get to the content, which just goes completely against her own social media use, let alone the fact that the bloke behind all of this is Dr. Tedros, a very, very bad man.
What makes this story dangerous is not the picture itself. It is the timing, the sequence, the pattern, because while most outlets rush to talk about compassion, leadership, empowerment, and the emotional speech Meghan delivered at the World Health Organization, very few wanted to touch the uncomfortable question sitting underneath the entire event like a hidden landmine. Why would someone preparing to stand on a world stage, warning about the dangers of online exploitation, post a carefully framed social media image involving her own 4-year-old daughter only hours before? And not just any image, a luxury branded image, a polished image, an image critics immediately accused of functioning less like a family moment and more like a marketing campaign disguised as motherhood. Tom Sykes did not whisper his reaction. He slammed it directly into print before Meghan even walked on stage in Geneva. 3 words: hypocrisy was breathtaking. And suddenly the entire atmosphere around the event shifted, because now people were not just looking at the speech, they were looking at the woman giving it. They were zooming into every detail of that closet photograph like investigators examining evidence. The designer rails, the visible labels, the expensive heels lined perfectly on the floor, the positioning of little Lilibet near Meghan's feet while the Armani outfit prepared for the Who appearance sat front and center in the frame. Critics started asking if the image was accidental or strategic, emotional or commercial, private motherhood or brand theater. Then came the detail that made the criticism hit even harder. The child's face was hidden, no full reveal, no clear front-facing shot, and Meghan's defenders instantly leaned on that fact. But Sykes argued something much more unsettling. He claimed hiding a child's face while still repeatedly using partial images online does not eliminate exposure. It creates curiosity. It feeds mystery. It turns the child into an object audiences feel encouraged to chase. Suddenly, the debate stopped being about privacy and became something darker. Was this selective visibility actually more powerful than full exposure? Was the mystery itself becoming part of the marketing? And then Geneva happened. The square outside the United Nations headquarters filled with grieving families whose children had allegedly lost battles against the darkest sides of social media algorithms. 50 illuminated screens, 50 dead children, parents standing in silence beside lock screen memorials glowing in the night air. The cause itself was painfully real. Nobody could deny that. The atmosphere was heavy, raw, emotional, and standing at the center of that event was Meghan Markle wearing a black Giorgio Armani trouser suit, Princess Diana's Cartier watch wrapped around her wrist like a symbolic inheritance of global compassion and humanitarian symbolism. Then she spoke, and for a moment, even critics admitted the speech sounded powerful. She warned about relentless algorithms, exploitative engagement systems, harmful content targeting children at alarming scale across borders. She declared children must be safe by design, not safe by chance. She compared online harms to poisoned water, defective toys, unsafe medicine. The rhetoric was dramatic, Intense. Serious. The World Health Organization embraced her completely. Dr. Tedros publicly praised her leadership and commitment. On paper, everything looked polished, but hanging over every sentence was the image from the night before. The closet, the child, the post, the timing. And this is where the story starts feeling almost surreal, because while Meghan was condemning systems designed to profit from children's attention, critics were accusing her of doing something frighteningly similar, not identical, but emotionally similar enough to trigger backlash across social media and commentary channels within hours. They pointed directly at the Instagram account. Over 4.5 million followers. Comments disabled. Public engagement tightly controlled. One tap away from her lifestyle branding ecosystem. One tap away from commerce. One tap away from carefully curated image building. Suddenly, people were no longer seeing a harmless family snapshot. They were seeing infrastructure, strategy, audience management, brand positioning. And then the inventory numbers exploded onto the internet. According to Tom Sykes, the visible wardrobe inside that single Instagram frame approached $250,000 in luxury fashion. A closet more expensive than entire homes in some parts of the world. Designer labels visible everywhere. Armani, Dior, Manolo Blahnik. The image no longer looked casual. It looked engineered, which made the presence of little Lilibet feel even more controversial because critics believed the emotional softness of motherhood was now being fused directly into aspirational luxury branding. The deeper people looked into this story, the stranger the contradictions became, because this was not happening in isolation. Months earlier, Prince Harry himself had publicly attacked social media platforms in language so aggressive it shocked even some of his supporters. He described powerful figures behind these platforms as evil and wicked, accusing them of farming children's thoughts and keeping kids trapped online for profit. Those words suddenly came roaring back into public discussion the second Meghan's closet photograph exploded online, because now critics were asking the question nobody inside the Sussex camp seemed prepared to answer. If these platforms are so dangerous, if the people running them are supposedly exploiting children, then why place your own 4-year-old inside content uploaded directly onto those same systems? Why feed the exact machine you publicly condemn? That was the moment the entire narrative loop closed like a trap. Harry condemns social media corporations for monetizing children's attention. Meghan uploads a luxury-branded Instagram image involving their daughter only hours before delivering a global speech about online child safety. And suddenly, the internet was no longer debating the message. They were debating whether the Sussex household itself actually believed the message. Critics claimed the speech in the photograph could not peacefully coexist. One was warning about exploitation. The other allegedly looked like exploitation wrapped in soft lighting and expensive fabric. Then another uncomfortable layer surfaced. Reports earlier in the year had suggested Meghan's lifestyle brand may have briefly hinted at possible children's apparel sizing charts before quietly removing them. Royal watchers immediately connected that detail back to the carefully controlled glimpses of Archie and Lilibet appearing online. Not full reveals, never fully public, just fragments, side profiles, back views, tiny pieces designed to keep curiosity alive without completely satisfying it. And according to critics, that may actually intensify public obsession rather than reduce it. The children become mystery figures, hidden royalty in a digital age built entirely on speculation. Meanwhile, outside the Sussex bubble, comparisons started quietly spreading online. During the same week, Catherine, Princess of Wales, was reportedly receiving civic recognition in Italy for work surrounding early childhood initiatives. Crowds filled public squares around her appearances, and suddenly royal watchers were contrasting two very different public images side by side. One royal figure appearing among crowds in traditional humanitarian settings, another standing before memorial screens discussing online harm while simultaneously battling accusations of using controlled family imagery for branding attention. Whether fair or unfair, the comparison exploded anyway. Silence from the Sussex camp only intensified it, and silence became its own character in this entire story. No clarification, no explanation, no pushback against Tom Sykes' article, no attempt to explain the timing of the photograph. The Instagram post remained online. The speech transcript remained online, both existing simultaneously like two competing realities staring directly at each other across the internet. Mama's Little Helper on Saturday night. Children must be safe by design, not safe by chance on Sunday morning. Same woman, same family, same global audience watching both unfold in real time. What made this backlash especially explosive was that many people watching felt trapped between two truths at once. The cause itself mattered deeply. Families really had lost children. The emotional pain surrounding algorithm-driven harm was real. But critics argued that using those tragedies while simultaneously participating in the same attention economy created a contradiction too massive to ignore. That contradiction became the actual story, not the speech, not Geneva, not even the World Health Organization event itself. The story became the image. The closet photograph swallowed everything else around it. And perhaps the most haunting part is this: little Lilibet never chose any of it. She did not choose the platform. She did not choose the photograph. She did not choose to become part of a worldwide argument about branding, privacy, exploitation, and royal image management before even reaching kindergarten age. Yet there she was, crouched inside a luxury closet while adults across the world dissected her presence frame by frame like evidence in a trial nobody officially admitted was happening. That is why this controversy refuses to die quietly, because people are no longer arguing over whether Meghan's speech sounded compassionate. Many agree it did. The real argument is whether the messenger herself accidentally exposed the exact system she was supposedly warning the world about. A world where children become engagement magnets, where mystery becomes marketing, where controlled visibility creates even stronger obsession, and where outrage itself keeps the machine spinning faster. Now, the memorial still stands in Geneva. The Instagram photograph is still online. The speeches have ended, but the questions did not end with them. They only became louder, because once people noticed the contradiction, they could not unsee it. And maybe that is the real reason this story exploded so violently online. Not because of what Meghan said at the podium, but because of what the internet believes it saw before she ever stepped onto it.